Hello. So, these days there's a lot of confusion about the abstract concept of freedom of expression and the written legal definition of freedom of speech. These are very different things, but for some reason, the crayon eaters of the world today conflate them as one and the same because they eat crayons. I don't look if they tasted the way that's y'all remember like the crayons that smelled like things. I loved the chocolate ones. That was a bomb crayon, man. It didn't taste like chocolate though. And after the first time I ate a crayon, I was like, well, I should probably stop doing that. Some people kept going. So I would like to share a story with you about, well, it's not my story. It's a comment I saw about 6 years ago on YouTube about the difference between living in America and not. Let's get into it. This is a story shared by a Jew. Said straight up, no, I'm a Jew. I'm not trying to use that as a derogatory. He's just saying. But he grew up in the U.S.S.R, not Russia, the U.S.S.R. This was some time ago, okay? And he opened up his story talking about how, like, his dad worked for the government. And he had this one dude who was, like, really good friends with him. They'd known each other for 30 plus years, something like that. One day, his dad's friend is over at their house. And when the commenter who wrote this story, when he was about 8 years old, something like that, and his dad and his friend, they was in a room where they had portraits of, like Lenin and Marx up on the wall. And commenter just points at them both and says something to the effect of, hey, these guys are gay retards. I mean, I don't know what like slang term they actually used in Russia back then, but extremely derogatory. And so y'all know that if you do that, you go to a gulag. What do you think about your freedom of speech now? Just saying. So, he's recounting this story, and he's like, I have never seen my father's face go so pale white. I thought he might die because he stopped breathing for a moment. Bearing in mind, his dad and his friend, they both work for the government of the U.S.S.R. And it doesn't matter who you are. You talk crap about Lenin or Marx, you're going to the gulag. Doesn't matter how old you are, you're done. Dad looks at his friend and is just like pleading with him, like, please do not ever tell anyone what you saw here. Please forget that this happened. And they only stayed in the country for about another week at that point because his dad became so paranoid that they would eventually come after him and his wife as well. It's going to be like, well, you're raising a disrespectful child, so you don't get to keep your government position anymore. Like, this was a big deal. This wasn't just some random words spoken at a portrait. I mean, it was, but, laws. So he comes over to America, and again, he was raised Jewish, which is weird because, like Orthodox Catholicism is like the main thing, not only in Russia, but especially in the USSR when that was a thing. So he was used to already, being in a minority. And when he comes over to America, he talked about how, like, his first month or so going to elementary school, anytime people would say the Pledge of Allegiance, he would actually just flip the flag off. And he would, like, be saying the pledge, but he would replace certain words to defame the American flag and that sort of thing. And, he's the person commenting on this, he's like 35 or something, but he's talking about when he was much younger. And he's just talking about how, like, I can't believe how much of a petulant little idiot that I used to be, honestly. And I only did that for like a month or so because I realized that I wasn't going to be thrown in a gulag for it. I realized that in this country, I actually am allowed to express myself. I am allowed to say what I want. And it is nothing like the true totalitarian rule that I used to live under. I think a lot of people in this country take for granted what we have because we have it every day. Because many, many men and women sacrificed their own lives and freedoms so that we could go around talking about how much we hate other people because of the sports teams and the political affiliation ideologies that they believe in. And I think that's pretty gay. I'm allowed to say that because I'm in America. But that's lame, dude. That's... I don't know. I think some people need to be locked up in a foreign prison, come back and tell other people what it's like and what happened to them so that they get a better understanding of what we have here in this country. For all this country's faults, which are many, I still do genuinely believe America is the best country on the face of the planet. Has been for a long time. God willing, it will continue to stay that way. Anyway, just wanted to share that with y'all. Just feel like talking about it. I don't know. Y'all have a good one. God bless. I'm out.